Penis. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Blaze. In this one, this was actually not a suggestion from me, not a suggestion from you guys, but a suggestion from Danny, the man himself who writes these scripts. And it's all about how to change your name and how much it costs. How happy are you with your real name? And have you ever had a burning desire to legally change it? I've often wondered if Simon Whistler's name is a stage name or whether he comes from a long line of whistlers. I do indeed actually come from a long line of whistlers. Just wondering if, could I show this to you guys without long line of whistlers. And I didn't change my name. It's not a stage name. Often people ask me if Simon Whistler's a stage name. I guess that's just because it's a cool name. Maybe I'll take this opportunity to reveal the truth. Well, there you go, Danny. It's me. I've always quite fancied legally changing my own name to Rooster Cogburn. As well as being quite a big fan of the True Grit films in which this character appears, I just think it's a cool name. The kind of name that's going to demand attention and respect when you book a dinner reservation. I don't know, Danny. If your name was Rooster Cogburn, I would really struggle not to call you. If I booked a table under the name of Rooster Cogburn, I feel sure I'd get the best table in the restaurant with the nicest window view and perhaps even a complimentary bottle of champagne. I have one experience of this where I was at university and there was this a student insurance company and I wanted to get a quote. And so I went to fill in their form online and they had this absurdly long drop-down box of titles. And it would have from, the regulars like Mr., Miss, all the way through to Colonel or Lieutenant, General, His Royal Highness. So I selected, just as a joke, because I just wanted a quote, I wasn't buying a policy, I selected His Royal Highness, like HRH, instead of Mr. And so I filled it out, and then the quote was really good. So a few days later, I forget about this, and I go into a branch on campus, and I'm like, hi, yeah, I'd like to take out an insurance policy. And I didn't bring the form with me that I'd done or anything. And I go in, and I'm like, yeah, okay, my details, Simon Whistler, blah, 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 blah. They fill it all out. And then halfway through, they start treating me with oh yes, of course, we'd be delighted to do this. And it's the guy was 18, I'm 18, what's with this weird interaction we've got going on? It seems very formal. And it pulled up my saved application from online and seen that I was HRH, His Royal Highness. And then I'd left and they'd printed out the policy and everything. And I was so confused about this. And I look at the policy afterwards and it's oh, His Royal Highness Simon Whistler. And so I enjoyed having that for a while, but then I realized it might invalidate the policy, so I had to go back in and get it changed to Mr. And my student card on the first week of I don't know what was wrong with me back then. I went in and you're applying for your student ID and they ask you to fill out your name yourself. So I put my middle name as Legend, and for 3 years of university, my student ID said Simon Legend Whistler. Okay, let's get back to it. That was quite the tangent. Or maybe they'll just laugh at me down the phone and hang up. Okay, so he's booking his dinner, they might laugh at him. Yeah, Danny, because your name would be... Either way, I was interested in finding out for myself. The laws and legal requirements for officially changing a name are obviously a little different in every country. In the US, legal name changes are regulated by individual state laws, and the process often involves long-winded court orders. In other countries, such as Brazil, it's almost impossible to change your name without a compelling reason, as your birth name is considered definite and immutable. Oh my god, there would be some parents who'd be complete what do you call your kid? Oh, I'm actually gonna call him the Brazilian word for dick. I was why isn't Brazil in the language on Google Translate? And then I realized they speak Portuguese. Google Translate, it's got that 18 filter on, I guess. And they say, no, I won't translate. So penis is penis.
Penis. Penis.
Penis. But I'd always believed that it was relatively easy to legally change your name in the UK, and a quick search online reveals a stack of adverts for legal deed poll companies who are willing to oversee everything on your behalf. Some of them charge as much as £50 for the service, but other companies are charging as little as £10. So, what do these companies actually do, and how much should it really cost to legally change your name by deed poll in the UK? I actually signed up for one of these services. Danny, original research, priced at $14.99. I don't pay you enough, Danny. If you want to bill me that for that $14.99, please do. With a view to finally achieving my dream and becoming Mr. Rooster Cogburn. Within just a couple of days, a fancy package arrived through my letterbox, crammed full of official documents bearing an elegant wax seal along with detailed instructions on how to start the process of legally changing my name. I was quite impressed for the first few minutes. But before we go any further, let's stop to consider why you would even need to go through the process of changing your name at all. In the UK, there is no governing agency that rules over the process of name change. There is no vast archive stuffed with ancient parchments on which your old name is officially crossed out and replaced with your new name by a dusty old man holding a golden quill. So what have you got? Like passport, driver's license? Because in the UK we don't have IDs. I think a lot of countries they have like mandatory IDs. We don't have those in the UK. So you change it on your like passport, driver's license, stuff like that. I feel like you'd need something written on your birth certificate. Although I don't think I've ever used my birth certificate for anything. In other words, your choice of name doesn't really have any legal status at all. So in theory, you could just announce down the pub that from this day forward, you would like to be known as Horace Zobtrousers, and that should be it. Going down the pub, you're gonna have to call me Cogburn from now on.
Penis.
It's not really anybody else's business. Of course, the only time it really matters is when you're dealing with record holders. Assuming that you want your new name to be displayed on your driver's license, passport, bank statements, and utility bills, then you're going to have to let the relevant organizations know and provide them with documented evidence of your name change. This documented evidence is a deed poll. Now, if you really want to feel official, you can apply for an enrolled deed poll at the Royal Courts of Justice. This currently costs £36, and many people mistakenly believe that this is the true legal way of changing your name in the UK. But what does enrolled deed poll actually do? In truth, practically nothing at all. It simply means that your name change becomes a matter of public record, and a notice appears in the next edition of the London Gazette, the official newspaper of the UK government? The UK government has an official newspaper? I've never heard of it. Where'd you look at that? Oh, it's more like a journal of record. The London Gazette claims to be the oldest surviving English newspaper and the oldest continuously published newspaper in the UK, having been first published in November 1665. It's like just talks about bills in Parliament. No wonder I've never heard of this. It's extremely boring. But unless you're particularly excited about appearing in the London Gazette, and you shouldn't be, then there's no practical value at all. It doesn't make your name change any more official or legal. It's just a very formal and outdated way of approaching the matter, which nobody else in the UK is going to give a flying flamingo about. It's a bit like placing an advertisement in the Daily Telegraph to announce that you're having steak and kidney pudding for your dinner tonight. Who gives a And you'll still have to mess around informing all of those organizations of your name change anyway, which is the only thing that really matters here. So, the only important and useful point to consider is just getting a hold of a standard deed poll which you can sign and date with your witness and start sending off to all of those companies about the thrilling news of your name change and get your records updated. This is really simple. You just order something online, fill it out, and send it off to Passport Office being like, hey, yeah, now I'm like Cogburn. And they'll be like, sure, sounds good. Here's your new passport. I feel like this is ripe for abuse. The terrorists could use this somehow. Business Blaze. Pro tips for the budding terrorist. And there goes my monetization. In the package I ordered myself, these deed poll documents did look pretty funky. They were printed on high-quality cream paper and included an official stamp at the bottom which bore the name of the company that I'd used in burgundy wax. I get the feeling this is just marketing and total bullshit. But how official were they? They weren't official at all. But you can actually do all of this stuff for yourself very easily for free. All you need to know is the few lines of very simple legal wording which declare the change of your name. This is very easy to find online, including at websites such as freedeedpoll.org.uk, which was founded by web designer Daniel Huntley in a bid to stop people wasting money on services they didn't actually need. His website even gives the opportunity to generate and print off your deed poll documents in minutes. What about that official-looking stamp? Absolutely worthless. It may look pretty, but it carries no extra legal weight whatsoever. Yeah, if I worked at the passport office, like, I was changing people's names, and they kept arriving with like fancy wax seals, I'd be like, someone else got ripped off. In reality, a spotty 14-year-old entrepreneur could start up a business in his bedroom called Legal Deed Poll Registration UK and make a nice fancy stamp with his business name on it. But all he's really doing is inserting your name into a readily available template, printing off a few copies for you, putting his stamp on it, and charging you about £20. I love that this I don't love it, but these people are real entrepreneurs. Like that guy who sells plots of land on the moon, who for legal reasons, I'll just say that maybe those aren't all they're cracked up to be. Maybe he doesn't own the moon. Maybe. Do your own research. And if you've got one of those plots of land on your bedroom wall thinking you really own an acre of land on the moon, well, maybe you don't. You might as well print off your own copies and make your own stamp out of a bit of pineapple blancmange. Is that some sort of cheese? The outcome will be exactly the same and the relevant organizations will be notified of your name change. So is it all just a scam? Well, nobody's breaking any laws here. Some deed poll companies are probably a bit more dubious than others in their marketing claims, but they're still technically providing you with a service. The same service that my printer provides. It just happens to be a service that you can easily do for yourself for free. The UK government could perhaps help things along by raising more awareness of just how simple it is to change your name, or perhaps even creating their own online deed poll generator. Which is a good idea to avoid the scams, but it's also, they don't want people changing their names all the time because it's going to be a massive hassle. Like, new passports, new driver's licenses all the time. But until that happens, thousands more UK citizens are likely to shell out good money to companies who are essentially just printing out bits of paper. Don't forget that wax seal, Danny. That's fancy. By the way, my family didn't let me change my name to Rooster Cogburn in the end, as they were worried about people taking the piss. I'm sorry, Daddy, I realized mostly through this video I've just been taking the piss. So I've just given £50 to another company who claim they can change my name to Foghorn Leghorn. Alright. Bonus facts. Australia enforces a strict 3 name change limit, but not many citizens are aware of this law, and very few people in history have felt the need to change their name more than 3 times. A guy called Hormus Daniel, Hormus is a name? That's weird, was certainly unaware of this when he ended up going on a bit of a name-changing binge to try and evade the attention of his crazy ex-girlfriends. Also to get rid of the name Hormus. Hey Hormus! You're gonna have a tough time in school. On his 3rd attempt, he attempted to go with a short and snappy temporary name of AHH, like AHH. Unfortunately, he's now stuck with it for the rest of his life as Australian law won't allow him to change it again. Poor soul. Ooh, 2 more bonus facts. Although you can easily change your name in the UK for free, it's worth bearing in mind that you may still rack up charges for it if, for example, you're wanting to get a new passport. That's going to cost you over £100. But it's still cheaper than the Ryanair administration fee. I'm flying Ryanair next week. Yay! A 19-year-old British student named Adam Armstrong was recently told by Ryanair that he'd have to pay a £220 administration fee after getting a flight accidentally booked under the wrong name of Adam West. His girlfriend's father booked him the ticket and pulled the name off Facebook. Also, £220 to change the name on a ticket? Oh my god. Adam realized that it would work out cheaper just to change his name by deed poll to Adam West and fork out for a new passport. What is going on? Okay, so it turns out I wanted a bit more information on this one. Adam Armstrong had his name on Facebook as Adam West as a tribute to the Batman actor. His girlfriend's father booked in the ticket under Adam West, and that was the problem. So he just changed his name from Adam Armstrong to Adam West. Both very cool names. Last bonus fact. One of the best legal name changes in history has to go to the American citizen Adrian Williams, who changed his name to the staggeringly brilliant Romancio Sir Tasty Maximilian. This conjures up images of a royal playboy with a thirst for adventure, a degree in seduction, and a bank balance longer than your mobile phone number. Alas, Romancio Sir Tasty Maximilian is actually an inmate currently serving a 50-year sentence for robbery, and he's at the Racine Correctional Institute in Wisconsin. Do you think he has a better time or a worse time in prison with that name? Or do you think they just refer to him as a number? Anyway, thank you, Danny, for the script and the suggestion. This was fun. Danny, let me know if you want that $14.99. I feel bad about you spending money on that now and then it going nowhere, but you did get that nice wax seal. This has been Business Blaze. Suggestions for future videos, let me know below. Smash that like button, why not? Subscribe. I think that's all my YouTube plugs, and I'll see you next time.
Penis.
Penis.